Hi everyone, Mike DelRose Jr., Caldwell banker with the DelRose McShane team, and I'm with my co-host and business partner, Bobby McShane.
Hey guys, what's going on?
How we doing?
Not bad. Exciting topic today.
I'll never forget my Uncle Peter and team member um, went and just tell me about his first sale he ever made in the business. He took his client to a listing, and the listing agent was there. His client walks into the front door, and they're like, "You just sold this house." And immediately on Peter's first sale, he lost any potential leverage for his client. So this week's topic: when to keep your mouth shut in real estate.
Things to say, things maybe not to say, I would say. Some good ones always off the bat too, like that I've run into is oversharing information, not about the property. You want to disclose everything about the property, but oversharing information about your particular circumstances if you're going through a nasty divorce, say, probably wouldn't want the other side knowing that initially up front. Oh,
I'll give you an example too. One of my best friends who I sold a few houses to, me and his wife are like trying to flag him down as he's talking to this listing agent and revealing how, we just listed his house and he wanted to buy. And, we're like, please stop talking, please stop talking. And he's telling the listing agent our time frame and, motivations and what our needs were. And we are a fiduciary. The state of Massachusetts determines that real estate professionals licensed are a fiduciary, meaning we act in your best financial interest. And so, legally, if a listing agent or a buyer's agent or the other side, whoever it is, hears you divulging information that could influence a negotiation, they're legally obligated to inform their client, right? So, for example, if a buyer agent walks into an open house to preview it and the listing agent says, "Oh yeah, they're going through a really nasty divorce." Okay. Well, that's a reason for selling, but now that buyer's agent knows and understands that these people probably want to get out of this deal quickly and want to move it along. Maybe they're willing to take a little less. It starts planting seeds in the buyer agent's mind. That buyer's agent legally has to present that information to their client. I mean,
right.
why wouldn't they? But there's a legal obligation. And on the reverse side, if I'm a listing agent and someone comes into the open house, um, a couple weeks ago I ran an open house on a listing, and these buyers were the buyers that ended up purchasing it. They walked in without their agent, and they just started talking. I make small talk all the time. I'm not trying to dig for information necessarily because, I think conversation's a lost art these days. But they're like, "Oh, we're in love with old houses. We have to have an old house." And I had an antique colonial that was just stunning. And I knew immediately these people were coming back to make an offer, and sure enough, they came to the end of the open house and made an offer and got the property under agreement. But they're divulging to me that they really love it. So if they came in lower on the offer than we were expecting, I'd probably draw a line a little bit and push back and say, we're really looking for this price. And you know what? We did a little bit. I did push back a little bit, knowing they really wanted the house. They were the only offer.
Mm,
So it's that type of information I'm going to use to protect my client.
right.
So if you are a buyer, a seller, and people are asking you questions, direct them to your agent.
Yeah. Yeah, to give another example of that, I think sometimes you'll have buyers that maybe walk into an open house and they're very honest with the listing broker, like, this room, it's really at the top of my price point. I really don't know if I can afford it. Which, if you're in a multiple offer situation and that's disclosed over obviously to the seller, it may not put your offer in the best light if the financing from your standpoint is questionable. When it may actually not even be that way, ultimately.
And you
So
could just be trying to protect your dollar. Like
right,
either way, whether that's true or not, whether
right,
you're looking at a property that's at the top of your budget or not, saying that to the listing agent, making them think you're not going to go over a certain amount, could backfire against you,
yep, yep.
to your
So
point.
yep.
Where else have we seen this?
Um, I think we're gonna go ahead and edit this last piece out here.
Why? You're doing fine. He's so nervous when he's talking to you people.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
camera's not my friend.
It's fine. Always on the open houses, when I'm running an open house, a buyer will come up and ask certain questions that might be applicable to their situation and not others. What is the time frame for moving? Can the seller do a quick closing? Things like that. This is why you want to have us screen on your behalf, because now I know that person needs to move quickly. maybe they're relocating or whatever. They're asking me if I can accommodate a request like that. I'm going to use that in a negotiation leverage. So this topic came about because I had a buyer go through my Savvy Buyers program, and basically my online real estate class for teaching buyers and sellers how to walk through a transaction. And she was like, Mike, I had no idea that like I should be paying attention to what I say. What can you say when you interact with a listing agent or a buyer's agent? If you're the seller running into somebody outside, what is kosher? You can answer any questions about the property. We can't hide any defects, material defects of the property. So everything is fair game when it comes to the property itself. There's
Personal circumstances is the thing that you probably want to err on the side of caution of mentioning to the other side.
time frames, budget, um, anything that would could like if you have a family, a large family or something like that, and there's an emotional attachment to a piece of property, if maybe there's a park right next door, don't divulge that information if it's not necessary. Don't say my kids love the playground next door. Um, because people can use that against you too. It's little things, but there's a reason we ask our clients, to keep things on the DL.
Mm-hmm.
Other times agents don't abide by this. So I've ran into agents out in the street where they're, walking out of a listing they have, and they're going to tell me all about that listing before it's even on the market. I'm prepping my clients well in advance if they're interested in something like that, if it's as part of their search. So agents are just as guilty. If you keep talking and keep engaging with them, maybe they're going to divulge something. So that's something I always do. I ask a lot of questions because sometimes they just let it slip, and I'm going to use that information to our benefit, whether it's on the listing or buying side.
Exactly. Yep.
So it goes both ways. It's not that every agent's out to get you, and we want to pick your brain and try to get those hidden secrets about your potential purchase or sale. It's just when you divulge certain types of information, we're legally obligated to act on it. So I think it's a good topic, and it's always a good reminder because I see people violating this at every single open house I walk into.
Yeah, I would say also you never know too if you're right out front of the house, someone has a Ring doorbell camera. You got to be very
Yeah.
careful about what you say and where you say it. I would say.
The surveillance state. We're definitely in a crazy timeline. So legally too, we can't just have cameras going inside one of our listings. We would have to disclose the existence of that. So in every one of our listing contracts, we actually have our sellers identify if they have recording devices or not. It's not illegal to have those, but that we have to disclose in MLS, like, hey, recording devices on premises. But you're absolutely right. Like Ring cameras, I've definitely had access to Ring cameras before and heard people talking about listings. So you have to assume at all times when you're walking through other people's property that you are being surveilled.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I would say it's not as often as maybe you would suspect, but if you play by that rule when you're walking around, like save the conversation until you're 50 yards down the road. Like
Exactly.
park down the street. I don't know why everyone tries to park right in front of the house at an open house. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to be
Give
right there.
yourself a little
Give
privacy.
yourself some privacy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walk 50 yards, walk the neighborhood. That you can have a safe conversation about the property. Now no one can overhear you, so you can give your honest thoughts. But if you are in that house and you're saying like, oh, I love it. I love it so much. This is the best house. You're losing negotiation leverage and you're not even realizing it. So these are the types of things we pay attention to because it's Thursday and we're bored.
Time for lunch. All right.
Time for lunch. All right, fine. So keep your mouth shut. Ask your agent if you have any questions.
Thanks, guys.